Greetings, friends. It's Matthew here. You are most welcome. Today, I thought I'd talk about Sword and Shield and how to train. Now, before I get into it, just know that there's no way I can go over 30 years of my combat experience in a single video. So, I'm going to have to stretch this out between several videos. And two, just by watching a video isn't going to magically make you a better fighter. The purpose of this video is to, one, inspire you to go to a practice if you're not attending one already, or two, if you are in a practice, maybe I can open your eyes to try new things. So, why Sword and Shield? I like Sword and Shield because it's been used by knights since the dawn of antiquity to the late Renaissance. On the field of Bicolline, it just echoes its usefulness, right? There's very few jobs that a sword and shield can't do, right? But when it comes to frontal assault, when it comes to flanking, when it comes to skirmishing, when it comes to holding ground, right? These are all jobs that a sword and shield can do, right? It dominates in that. And I think the real reason I like sword and shield is because when it comes to single combat, right? If I find you alone on the battlefield, I have no equal. If you're a spearman, I will slay you. If you're a polearmsman, I will slay you. If you're any other weapon than another sword and shield, or two swords, right, odds stack heavily in my favor. So, training with sword and shield. How do you do it? Well, as I mentioned before, you just need to go to a weekly practice. There's just no real getting around it, right? You just have to put in the time, week after week, year after year, practice after practice, and inevitably you'll get better. Personally, I like going to the Bastion in Montreal. It has some of the best sword and shield fighters in all of Bicolline, right? But maybe you don't live in the Montreal area, but you do want to go to Bicolline, or you've been going to Bicolline, right? But you haven't been exposed to really good fighters. Well, I'm going to just throw out a few of the people I know who have either challenged me or made me a better fighter, right? And this is by no means a complete list, and if I haven't said your name and we met before, please excuse me, but I don't want to make a whole video where I just list all my friends. But off the top of my head, I could think of Xavier from The Inevitables. Solid fighter, right? Just solid all around. Burblax. Excellent sword and shieldman, very good long-range snipe game with his sword, right? Very tough to kill. Ronix from the Garage Room, right? Another solid fighter. He has like this crazy scorpion where he holds a shield here and his sword above his head, and he'll throw these Milanese over his head, right? And then he'll combo off that. Solid fighter. Really good. Kynan from the White Lions. My best friend. Right? In sword and shield, he's my equal. He's a great fighter, a great teacher, and a great friend. And lastly, I'd just like to mention two other fighters. Bear Black Spear and Steve from Dalok. Sorry, Steve, I never asked you what your Bicolline name was. But both these guys are just outstanding fighters. Steve was a unbelted champion for years before I became a knight in the SCA. Bear Blackspear has won tournaments in Beauhurt, right? And is top 10 in Canada, right? Both of them, not only did they force me to be a better fighter, they made me a better knight. Okay, you're at practice. And now you're practicing with someone who's better than you. Congratulations. Now what? Alright, well, now I'm about to give you advice, and if you learn nothing else, please remember this. If you lose, never be ashamed or too proudful to ask why or how they did it, right? There is no other way to learn without asking. And I get it because I fell into these traps of the mind, right? I was sometimes too prideful, and I thought, ugh, they just got lucky. I'll get them next time, right? Or sometimes I feel shameful, right? And I'll think, oh God, I lost. I'll never get better. Never, right? Don't fall into that trap. So, I'll talk briefly about the two traps to learning: pride and shame. With pride, there's nothing really inherently wrong with being proud of the accomplishments you've had or how far you've come in your learning. However, pride can be dangerous when you come to practice, right, with the idea that you already know everything there is to learn, or you have nothing new to learn, right? And it could also be detrimental is if you lose and you start making excuses why you lost. The opposite of pride is shame. And with shame can be particularly nasty when you feel everyone is so much better than you, right? And you'll never achieve the goals of becoming as good as you imagine yourself to be. So let's get into talking about technique. But before we do, keep in mind that I'm just going to scratch the surface. I'll get to more details in future videos, right? And also, I'm in a wheelchair, so I can't truly get up and show you how some of these techniques are done, so I'll try to describe them using pictures, and I'll verbally try to illustrate what I'm talking about, so please bear with me. Alright, stance. Let's get into it. So normally I want a forward boxer stance, right? Both my legs pointed towards my foe. I never really want to turn sideways, right? In a bladed stance or karate stance, right? I normally want to face my foe head on, right? With either my shoulder either cocked back slightly, right? But basically I'm always faced towards my foe. The reason for that is if I turn sideways, some people I see like they favor their shield, right? So now my shield is closer, but my sword is further away, right? So I'm favoring my shield. If I'm turned the other way and my sword is forward, then my shield is further away, right? Whenever you fight sword and shield, you want to make sure you present both defense and offense at the same range. All right, posture. Let's get into that. Normally for posture, I want to be upright. I don't want to lean forward. I don't want to lean too far back. I normally want my weight center, right? So at any time I can shift left, I can shift right, I can dart forward, I can dart back, right? I want to keep my balance neutral. But normally I want to be neutral and to the point where I need to act. All right, hand position. Let's get into that. Normally I want my sword position. I want my grip of my sword be the hammer grip, right? I prefer it. It's most stable, right? And it allows me to drive my sword forward into my foe, right? I can fire it at range and snap it, right? And bring it back, right? I've seen some other grips where they grip the sword like this, where the thumb is extended along the hilt, right? Or I've seen some other ones where they take the index finger and they put it around the guard, right? I never really favored those, right? To me, I like simplicity, right? Use it like a hammer, use it like a tool, smash your enemies. So in short, challenge yourself in practice, have an open attitude towards learning, keep your feet forward, your guard forward, and a good grip on your sword. Until next time, I'm your sword master, Sir Matthew.